safari guide today. Just a couple safety reminders before we head on out there. Please remain seated for the entirety of our time together. That's my #1 rule. If you have a little one sitting in your lap, then let them remain fully seated and solely in your lap for the entire time. Now we're entering into the Little Cherry Forest, where animals like to use camouflage to hide in the plants on either side. On the right-hand side, up towards the top of the hill, there's an okapi. Okapi have zebra-like hind legs, but do not be fooled. They're actually most closely related to the giraffe. We know this because they have the same long prehensile tongue, meaning they use their tongue to grab their food. They also have the same skull structure as the giraffe. One more look at the okapi on the right-hand side, just as we round the corner. Coming up on the left-hand side, way in the distance and then closer as we round the corner, there's some black rhinos. You know they're black rhinos because they have pointed prehensile lips, meaning they use their lips to grab their food. Black rhinos are pretty solitary. They like to be on their own. Unfortunately, they've also become a pretty rare sight due to poaching. They've been highly poached for their horns, which are made of keratin, the same thing that our fingernails and our hair are made out of. Up on the left-hand side as we round the corner, way up at the top of the hill, the light color antelope or greater kudu. They're one of the tallest of the antelopes. Also on the left-hand side, the black and white birds are saddle-bill storks. They can get up to 5 feet tall and have a wingspan of about 8 to 9 feet across. We are leaving the Little Cherry Forest and we're heading towards the Sophie River region. In the Sophie River, animals are aquatic, which means they spend most of their time in the water. So we're going to have to look under the water for any dark shapes, ripples, or bubbles. That might mean that there's an animal there. On the right-hand side at the top of the water, you might be able to catch a glimpse of some Nile hippos. Nile hippos spend the vast majority of their time in the water. They can be fully submerged for up to 8 minutes at a time. Even when they're sleeping, they'll be submerged. Then they'll just float up to the top, take a breath of air, and sink back down, all without waking up, completely by muscle memory. On the left-hand side, behind the island at the top of the water, we have a better view of the Nile hippos. Like I said, they do spend most of their time in the water, but at nighttime they'll actually get out and roam the shores in order to find some food. In front of us, there's a rickety-looking bridge. Let's make sure everyone remains fully seated while we go over the bridge. But while seated, turn your head to the left, and you'll see some Nile crocodiles. Nile crocodiles can reach up to 16 feet in length and weigh up to 500 pounds. They only tend to eat about once a week, but in a single feeding, they can eat up to half of their body weight. That's 250 pounds. Their jaws are strong enough to crush bones, but they're also gentle enough to roll their eggs. Alright, we are leaving the Sophie River region, and it looks like we're heading towards my favorite area. That's the Savanna. I know we're heading towards the Savanna because the vegetation on either side of us is beginning to thin out just a bit. Oh, here's a another short side of the savanna. On the right-hand side as we round the corner, there's a baobab tree. It may look like an upside-down tree, but it's just leafless for 9 months out of the year. Its spongy bark holds water in it, and during the dry season, animals will get into the bark for the water. That's why it's often called the tree of life. On the left-hand side as we round the corner, you'll get your first view of the savanna. You may notice the grass is trimmed pretty short out there. That's the work of grazing animals like zebras and antelopes. And the trees are trimmed pretty high up. That is the work of giraffes. They say you can tell how tall the tallest giraffe is by how high up the trees are trimmed. Speaking of which, on the right-hand side, there's some Maasai giraffes. I know they're Maasai giraffes because they have jagged, irregular spotted patterns. Giraffes are the tallest creatures on the savanna. They can get up to 15 feet tall. And they actually start off life at 6 feet tall. Since they give birth standing up, that is quite a drop when they're first born. But that drop actually helps them to take their first breath. On the left-hand side, lying up on the hill, there are some African wild dogs. African wild dogs are also known as painted dogs because of the spotted pattern on their coats. They live in packs led by an alpha male and alpha female. That's the primary breeding pair of the pack. And they may look pretty cute and cuddly, but do not be fooled. They're actually some of the most successful predators on the savanna, known for chasing their prey down until the prey quite literally drops from exhaustion. On the left-hand side as we round the corner, there's a great view of Ankole cattle. Ankole cattle are also known as Watusi cattle, after the Watusi tribe that first domesticated them. They're the only domesticated animal that's on the reserve. Also coming up on the left-hand side are some Hartsman's mountain zebras. I know they're Hartsman's mountain zebras because they have white underbellies and a flap of skin hanging down from their neck called the dewlap. The dewlap helps them to remain cool during the hotter seasons. Coming up on the right-hand side as we round the corner, another look at the Maasai giraffes. Giraffes do spend most of the day just roaming around and eating. They actually only sleep for about 30 minutes each day. On the right-hand side, way out by the tall grass, there are some wildebeest. Wildebeest roam in herds that can get up to 1.5 million wildebeest, which may sound pretty chaotic, but they're actually fairly organized. At night, they'll lay in rows, facing in every direction. That way, if they spot a predator coming, they can just hop up and start running in all directions without colliding into each other. Bit of a better look at the wildebeest on the right-hand side, and also on the right as we round the corner, just standing in the tall grass, there are some adorable little antelopes called springbok. Springbok only get to be about 2 to 3 feet tall, so all the ones we see here are full-grown adults. Over here, there are a lot of trees that have been knocked over. Oh, that can actually be a great sign that my favorite animal, the elephant, might be nearby. Let's see if we can spot anyone today. On the right-hand side, there is an elephant. Wow. Oh Elephants tend to roam in two separate herds. There's the female herd, comprised of the females and the babies until they're 15 years old. Then there are the males, who tend to be by themselves, or they'll be in a bachelor herd. You know, I don't see any other elephants around, so that means the one that we saw is probably a male. And the males won't stray too far away from the females. Not only do they want to be around for mating season, but also the females know where to find all the best food and water. And why would the males need to know that if they can just follow those girls? Work smarter, not harder, right? Oh, there's another rickety bridge. Let's just go poly-poly. That's very slowly over this bridge. Almost there. Oh, we made it. Perfect. Looks like we're about to pass through a red clay pit. Right inside there are tough parts of the red clay. You know, sometimes elephants will actually eat the red clay to supplement nutrients they need in their diet. This could be a good sign that there might be some more elephants around. Just keep our eyes out, see if we can spot anyone. Up on the left-hand side as we round the corner, there's a group, or a flamboyance, of flamingos. These are the greater flamingos. They're the largest of the flamingos and the lightest pink color. And on the left-hand side, way in the distance, looks like there is another elephant. On the left-hand side, I see a mud pit. That can be a pretty good indication that there might be some animals around. Animals like elephants and rhinos like to lay in the mud pits. Not only does it help them cool off, but they can also coat their skin with the mud, and it acts as a natural form of sunblock. On the right-hand side, lying up under the trees, you might catch a glimpse of a water buck. They're known for their shaggy coats and the white markings on their hindquarters. On the left-hand side, walking out of the trees and lying in the far left corner, there's some cheetahs. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals. They can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. Even though they can get up to 60 miles per hour, they cannot maintain that speed for too long, only about the length of a football field. After that, they are completely exhausted. but that is why they tend to hunt during the day, because towards the night, after they spend all of that energy, sometimes larger predators will come along and take their prey from them. They just won't have the energy to fight them off. In point of fact, up to 50% of the meals that they have do get stolen by larger predators. Now it sounds like there's some animal friends on the road in front of us, so we're going to wait here for a moment till they decide that they'd like to move off of the road. In the meantime, we have a great view of the cheetahs on the left-hand side. Now if you look closely, you may notice that the cheetahs have black markings underneath their eyes. This helps them when they hunt during the day. It reduces the glare of the sun.
There's rhinos in the farm. There's two.
Sounds like we're going to be waiting here for just a moment more. Now, cheetahs are rather unusual for big cats. For one thing, they cannot do any sort of roaring sound, but they can purr like our house cats do. And on top of that, their claws are always out. This helps them to get traction while they're running. Alright friends, looks like our animal friends might have moved off of the road. We're gonna go forward polly-polly, just very slowly here.
Oh, I can see five.
And it doesn't look like we're moving forward that much. We're gonna wait right here for one more moment until they decide to fully move off of the road. On the plus side, we do have a great view of the two cheetahs walking around, and the third lying way in the back under the tree on the far left side.
Oh yeah, I see the lion.
See the kitty?
Now, of course, while I have a moment here, for my own curiosity, by a show of hands, is this anyone's first safari? Anyone's first? All right, right up here in the front, in the middle, in the back. Whoa, quite a few of you. All right, well, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I know you had a choice of a lot of safari drivers. I'm glad that you chose me. And for all of you returning, welcome back and thank you for choosing me as well. Now, for my first timers, this does sometimes happen. These are absolutely wild animals and they definitely have minds of their own. Sometimes they do decide to stand right in the middle of the road directly in front of a truck. So we're just kind of going to have to wait until they decide that they'd like to move off of the road. Now, I can actually see the animals right up here. Looks like there are some white rhinos. Now, don't worry, as soon as we move forward, we'll try and get a better view of them. Now, I do know that they're white rhinos because they have a wider jaw shape. They're the larger of the rhinos and can get up to 5,000 pounds. Now, they don't see very well, only about 5 to 10 feet in front of them. But their sense of hearing is absolutely amazing.
I guess maybe they can't do it with these. They might not have like the...
Looks like our rhino friends are being encouraged off of the road, so hopefully we'll be continuing on with our safari very shortly.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna...
Well, that was a rare view of a white rhino running for anyone who was able to glimpse that. Rhinos can run at up to 35 miles per hour. Now, if it puts it in any perspective, I can only go up to 8 miles per hour.
All he did was make it mad.
He's like...
He's like, you need to get away from me. Oh, he's yeah, it's just making it mad.
Well, since we have a moment, I might as well say that for my first timers, I do recommend at some point coming back on another safari. Because depending on the time of day and even depending on the weather, you'll see different animals out and active. I've been on quite a few safaris myself by this point, and not a single one has ever been the same as another. On the left-hand side in the distance, looks like there's another cheetah walking around underneath the trees. As soon as we move forward, hopefully we'll be able to get another view. friends. Looks like our animal friends are completely off the road, so we're going to continue on with our safari. I do need everyone to be fully seated as we move forward. These roads can be unexpectedly bumpy. We just want you to be safe. Here we go. Get a bit better look at the cheetah walking around on the left-hand side. And it looks like we're going to get a fairly close view of the white rhinos. The word for the white rhinos comes from the Afrikaans, which is a dialect of the Dutch language, word white. But white does not mean white. White means wide, referring to their jaw shape. Pretty great view of a white rhino on the right-hand side.
He's coming back again.
And it looks like our rhino friend is going to stay right over here near the road. So we're just going to wait here for one moment till they get a little further away from our vehicle.
Look at that, buddy.
Alright, we're going to attempt one more time going forward. Holy moly.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Hear that sound? There's a lion. Sounds like there's another one. Let's see if we can find it. On the right-hand side, another look at the white rhinos. Oh, here we go on the left-hand side up on the rocks. Looks like there are some more lions. Or lioness, I should say. The lions do spend the vast majority of the day sleeping and resting. That's about 16 to 20 hours each day. They're mostly nocturnal, so really they become way more active towards nighttime. On the left-hand side, up on the hill lying under the tree, there's a warthog. Warthogs are extremely smart. At night, they'll pack themselves into their burrows and leave their tusk out. That way they can ward off any nearby predators. They're one of the only animals that can successfully back themselves up. On the right-hand side, another look at a white rhino.
See over here, buddy?
Oh, and on the ground there are some ostrich eggs. Those eggs are extremely strong. A full-grown adult human could stand on those eggs and not break them.
I'm gonna jump in and up and down, up and down, up and down. Squirrel! Squirrel! That's an owl. A squirrel.
We are now entering into Magadi Glen. This marks the edge of the reserve, and it's where the warden has their outpost. Oh, it looks like the warden's begun to raise some Nigerian dwarf goats. Nigerian dwarf goats spend most of the day eating and resting. They're also very social and super playful.
Oh my goodness.
He's a baby squirrel. Like, he's tiny.
Well, passing through those gates does mean our time together is drawing to a close. We've seen a lot of animals and learned a lot of facts, but I want to leave you with a few more facts about animal conservation. Now you may be thinking, what can I do about animal conservation? There's actually a few very simple things you can do in your day-to-day life that make a big difference. One of the easiest things to do is to reduce your use of plastic. My favorite way to do this is to get a reusable water bottle. That way you can cut down on the plastic water bottles. You can also get a reusable bag to take with you when you go shopping. And of course you can reduce your use of plastic straws. You definitely don't have to go the paper straw route. There are plenty of other reusable options that work just as well. And it does look like we're heading back towards the main village of Harambe. There are plenty of things to do around Harambe.